Hello and welcome everyone. It is so scary how fast these days go by. Because it legit feels like I just woke up a moment ago and here we are at streaming time already. Like usual, I haven't even started packing. It's not gonna be a fun day tomorrow. It definitely ain't. But let me take a sip since hydrate has been partaken. Thank you, Goran. I don't know. The water tastes better than usual. It could have something to do with. Let me actually check the weather. Yeah, it is at exactly 0, so it's not that cold. But for some reason, the water is way colder than usual. No, Goran, you're just making nonsense there. That's just other nonsense. Yes, but you're getting a penalty. Well, let's actually start up the game itself. Yeah. So, uh, I originally remembered this episode and the next episode being reversed. Oh wait, this is weird. Usually when I'm at this screen, the like everything on the screen looks in a completely wrong dimensions and everything. Now it looks correct. It usually have required me to done the loading and getting here before it like shows up as it should be. I wonder what changed. No, Goran, you will go on with the penalty you already sustained. I will not give you any more leeway with this. So we shall continue. And yeah, like at the end of last episode, I thought that the one we are gonna do, start. I doubt we are gonna get all the way to the end. But the one that we are just about to start would be episode 3 and not 2. But it's not the first time that I misremember the order of the episodes. Oh, just wait until next Monday. I feel that's gonna be a nightmare of me trying to remember things. Yeah, that just happened. I find the animation in this version compared to the original Trilogy version being way more goofy. Yikes. That was super, super goofy. I wonder how many times this line has been used in the series overall. And I might actually want to turn that down a bit. There we go. Yes, go on, Goron. Don't leave me hanging here. You don't know what's even going on yet, Goron. Also, sick as it is, a publicized gem heist is like a multitude of higher case than someone that made a triple homicide. Yeah. You can, in many occasions, get with a less sentence for killing 6 people than if you do a public gem heist. Yeah, that's just... No, I'm not. Because the gem, in many occasions, if someone does a gem heist of some sort, the ones that are like the main show, we are talking about millions upon millions. Hundreds of millions that they are worth. One human life is an average of 1 million. So if you steal a diamond, let's say, that's worth 10 million, it would like equal to you killing 10 people. So, yeah. Of course, if the person killed is rich, well, that ups the stakes, but it's just how sick this world happens to be. But you don't yet go around like this just started. You don't know what happened really. Like, Bro's telling us about the Treasures of Crane exhibit, so that's what we know for certain now. Yeah, like there's something noticeable on Maya's costume. The fact that I'm so surprised that there are alternate costumes for Phoenix, but there have never been alternate costumes for Maya. Like in the anime there have been, but those were the ceremony ones. So, bit of a shady character. She's not smart enough to be at all of a shady character. She does shady things. She's constantly stealing things, or at least hinting or trying to do so. But she don't understand that she's doing that. In most occasions, she's just doing it. So you can't call her being shady. She's just cool. Also, yeah, Phoenix was saying all of this out loud. And yeah, you have to remember that originally this was third game. and the games were, in essence, standalone experiences. Like, you could have gone through and pick up the series at any point. I still say that you can pick up the series with any of the games. Just the fact that you need to move on from that game to like forward and not go backward, because if you go backward, that's when things get murky and you get spoiled on things and such. But if you keep going forward, there's no issue. I originally started with the 4th game, and then I got the 1st game. It's a good thing that the 4th game is so out there and so like loose to everything else. It didn't spoil anything at all. So starting at the 4th and then going to 1st, there was no issues. But you can't say the same that go to 5th and go to 2nd, for example. Cheapest junk. Well, to be honest, I have been super disappointed in museum shops for many years now. They have lost the idea of having actually useful and cool items rather than just have expensive and crappy items. It's like I loved museum shops back when I could visit like one museum every other year and never have any money to get anything from the shops. Now it's like I can technically go to a museum whenever I want and will never get anything from the shop because they are overpriced and bad. Like last time I was close getting a book because they were on a clearance. But then I went by and started to look at, yeah, this book isn't really even worth the €5. Maybe I'm at the point where I shouldn't just buy books because I'm making a good deal with them. If I don't actually need or want more on a certain topic. Because I have obtained a huge library. Mostly for free, yes, but still. I need to start limiting on books. Because I'm still at like an intake of, let's say, about 40 to 60 books a year. That's a lot. What? What you're referring to with that, Goran? Yeah, but scrolls are cool. Maya, no. Oh, that's cool. Like, if the kit is unopened, that could be worth a lot, you know. Because most likely it's not gonna be available anymore. So, let's actually examine a bit. Since we had no examination last time, since we were on case number 1. Like, it could still be worth something, like if it's fully filled and not done. It might be best that you check, like, can you find it on sale somewhere before starting building on it? Because if you find it that it's actually worth a lot, it might be best that you sell it and buy a new, like, 2 new ones with that money, you know? Yeah, like, what happened to Kurain over the series, it's rough. So we will learn about that a bit later on. But look how an awful place it is in. Like, is this an art mistake and the rope is actually meant to go behind? Because it kind of looks like that the rope is in this. But let's say it's an art mistake and it's meant to go behind. It's still such like a flimsy place. And I hate it. Because like, it feels like if I look hard enough, this plinth, like whatever would be put onto this cushion would just drop. Ugh. It pains me. It pains me to think about things being broken down in museums. Yes. I wonder, have they ever cleaned the certain things that happened to it? What? Hi? Yeah, like this is never explained. What's so great about it? And overall, it has always been a display. Even at the village, it was displayed in the room where anyone going into a seance would see it. So I don't understand. Yeah, I love when they actually build dioramas. Like, that's the best part. Like, it's the only part that really makes it worth it to go to the workers museum over here. That they have like that huge diorama of the area. It's so good to look at. The same thing is for it's a brand, so I'm not gonna say the name, but it's a textile factory that used to exist here. They have a museum exhibit about it. Because the museum is not so far away where the factory used to be. And so they have the whole history of that factory. And they even have this ginormous scale. I don't get what you're going on about. But yeah, so they have this huge scale miniature, like a dollhouse scale miniature of one of the factory buildings, and all the machines and everything. Like, that makes that exhibit super worth to see, especially how they use this lovely technology, which I wish that they start using more. That they have these see-through plastic like slices inside the dollhouse, and they reflect light onto them, and like they are full videos with that like remain to have like a transparent background, so they look like holograms because of that. It's super cool, and that way they showcase like certain things happening inside the factory with like real actors in period costumes. In other places it's just the doors that are just standalone, but those plastic things make it come alive in such a great manner. I wish that they would have more of that in the museum, but they have nothing with that technology other than that. At least not yet. Maybe in the future. The Post Museum have something kind of similar to it, but it's done in a way more older, more old school method, and in a larger scale. Okay, I will try to remember to ask. Oi. Like, that is true. Because let's take an example. I will take random object from my table. These scissors. These scissors aren't worth nothing right now. Like, they are in okay condition. I haven't been sharpening them or nothing, but they aren't dirty. They aren't that worn down. They are in quite okay of a shape. They do their job. But still, in most cases, people wouldn't pay anything for it, because it's just a random scissors. But in 200 years, this would be fit for a museum. If it's intact in any sort of way, it would be fit for a museum. To showcase that, oh, in the 20th century they had these kind of scissors. They were a normal tool. Instead of lasers, they used those to cut things down. Blah blah blah. But this is how things go. Like, I have a lot of stuff back home that would have been accepted into multiple museums, but they aren't paying anything for those. So I rather keep them to have some historical items to my own name. You know, old shearing equipment, things like that. We even found a lot of like stone tools, because back home that area is the only area that wasn't under sea back in the Ice Age. Which is weird. Because like most of things were under the sea. Well, under the ice. There weren't like an actual sea, but the ice. The ice was everywhere. So yeah, Andrews is one of the characters you would have thought that we wouldn't see again, but here she is. And I don't know, is her situation that much better? Like overall, they don't go into any of the things that we found out about her last time. But it doesn't still mean that they aren't still an issue for her. So, But yeah, like usual, let's examine first before we start actually talking. We see a lovely old screen here, and I assume that's the central unit under it. But the way that they are placed like this makes me like cringe. It also gives me the same feeling as the cushion in the museum. Because knowing how old screens, like how much space that they needed on the back, this one's mostly floating in air. So I have the bad feeling if I would stare hard, like intent enough, the screen would fall down and into the cubicle. And that was my coaster. It got tad stuck to the cup. It occasionally does that. I wouldn't mind having an actual proper good coaster, but those cost money, and I would feel bad for making it dirty by using it. Like that camera placement is just bad. It's annoying when you actually need to do something with it, and in an actual case of like a robbery or something, it's so easy to notice and avoid. Like, you could smack it, you could turn it around, you could do anything to it. Like, even like a way better place would have been like next to here. So it could have been in an angle where it sees this door and this door at the same time, and it would have been far easier to not notice, because people have the blind spot above. People don't usually look above them in almost any occasion. Like, again, today was one of those days. If I wouldn't have looked up, I could have died. I went out on a walk like usual, and there was snow and ice falling from the rooftops. If I didn't look up when I heard the rumbling, I might have dodged in its way. Because it's sometimes hard to assess by the sound alone where exactly it's going to. And when ice is falling from like fucking 5 stories up, that'll kill you when it hits you. But it's just an average day. Average thing. People don't usually think about it. It's not that common that it actually ever kills anyone. Or even majorly hurts anyone. Even though you would think that it would happen quite more often than it does. Yes, Phoenix. At this point, you should have known to expect it. Brr. What? Why can't it be Spugburgy? No. I can't make those shitty jokes work. Spaghetti shouldn't be tangled. If spaghetti gets tangled, something's wrong with it. Something is definitely wrong with it. It's never ever supposed to clung up to itself. It's never supposed to tie into a knot. Like, string's natural form is to go into a knot, like materials, like basic formation is being a round. That's how water droplets and everything function. That's why they happen. Not just the gravitational environment. If it would be just the gravity itself, there wouldn't be the roundness. But that's going into physics and in a state I don't want to go that far, but still. With spaghetti, it's a difference. You have done something wrong with it if it gets into a knot. It's supposed to remain fluid enough that it will never tangle. If it does, you have most likely burned the spaghetti. How to burn spaghetti? Ask any school ever. Because like 90% of spaghetti I have eaten in schools is burned for some reason. I don't know how they do it, but they do it somehow. Even when they are supposedly making it French. Which makes it scary, because I can understand that if they get the spaghetti already like boiled, and then they reheat it and that's why it burns. But some of the schools where I have had burned spaghetti, it has arrived, well, at least they claim that it was cooked there, not just heated up. So yeah. Can't find. But what do you mean you can't find? But like, I find it odd that you can't find any. That's just a normal thing to have. It's weird. I don't remember, have I ever had spaghetti with sausages? Most likely I haven't. I know it used to be a thing in the 90s because it was supposedly a very, very affordable meal to do and easy to do. But nowadays it's actually more expensive to do it with sausages than with ground meat. So rather do the real deal than that. That's odd. That's odd as well. Because like sausages they usually have a very, very, very low meat percentage. While the ground beef is mostly meat. Like there is some other things with it usually to make it consistent. But it's mostly meat. I remember that I could have studied these in some form, but no. And like the entire door is its own thing, so well, we'll just talk about the statue. Like, it's such a weird thing, and I will like spoil something about future and future games. This statue has parts in multiple things. So I find it a tad odd that it didn't play a part in the Korean village before, but it will continue to have a huge part afterwards. Because like the last time when we were supposed to see it, we didn't. Yeah, like that weapon would be completely unusable in combat. But it's a ceremonial thing, so it makes sense. But like, you could have a spiked sword in a way, a barbed sword, that could be done functional. It wouldn't be good, but it could be done. But this is just utter horrible. Like, if you would start swinging that around, what would happen? Those spikes would get caught into something, and, well, your entire weapon is then caught into something. And that's how it's gonna end. If you were some sort of superhuman, the spikes would get into something, you would get them loose, meaning that the spikes will get broken. Spikes getting broken, the entire sword will get broken. You could have better used a freaking tree trunk. You couldn't cut anything with that regardless it being sharp or not. There is no cutting surface. You could spike something. A bit. But that's it. So, as usual, we'll present our badge. Well, it is the truth, but it's not like he would ever admit it. And yeah, Maya was never around because of, well, what happened last time. So, of course, she has no idea who Andrews is. Yep. Maya spending her time mostly in the cellar. She was in literally in the dark of things, even more than usual. And oh, how easily she could have actually escaped if she had some common sense. Well, 200th anniversary. Now that's quite of a celebration. But what we have seen of this particular exhibit, it's quite small. Like, it's in the nature of a special exhibit in the game museum. Like, it feels like it's in the scale of that. And those are the smallest ones, like changing exhibits in the entire place. I wonder, how long was the Noita one up there? It must have already been removed, right? I visited it last year. There's no way it's gonna be there still. And like, it didn't really have much. You could play the game there. Like, yay. You could play some of the older demos. Now that's a bit more interesting since like they aren't publicly, all of them aren't publicly available, like the older games. But then the fact that they had just some pictures of old like concept arts of the game. Like, they didn't have the actual things, they just had scans or pictures of those papers, which was weird. Because I bet that they could have just had the real deal like as easily, and it wouldn't have, been any sort of a risk. Because I don't think they are gonna be worth that much, let's just say. Yeah, like the game is great, it's doing okay, but it's an indie game. Now, unfortunately, indie game devs never get rich. It's just a fact. You can never get rich on that. And don't be saying about Minecraft. It stopped being an indie game quite quickly in the grand scheme of things. And that's the thing. When you start making bucks with an indie game, it's no longer an indie game. It becomes a proper funded game. That's the thing. You cannot make money with an indie game because it stopped being an indie game. And yeah, they use an actual star there. Like, I wonder how much of a pain it is to always have that up in the coding and everything. Like, I have suffered enough for a freaking dot to be presented. But a star? I don't even remember how to do a star. If anyone does, please say, because I don't remember. Let's talk about the sacred. Like, I can partly understand why, but in other words, I can't. because what happened to it, it gave it an interesting story, but that also made it pointless. Yeah. Like, this urn has had a lot of going on for it in the series as well. But oddly enough, it's gonna lose most of that. It's not gonna be something we see in every freaking game. No. I wouldn't say it was that important. Okay, it was a very important one at that point, but still. Yeah, it's so weird to think that this happened 1 year ago from where the game is right now. If, like, especially if you think about the time between this case and the last time we saw Andrews. Like, the time scales get wacky. And especially how this game jumps a bit as well makes it even more wackier. I still don't get how could you get it together like that? Like, the amount of glue you would need. You would plasterize it. You would in essence create a new one from it. But then again, there is a Japanese art that's all about taking a broken item and making it whole again in a way that you can see the cuts. Like, I don't like it. I guess it depends on like what is used to make it, because I've seen it even done with swords. Like, with swords I can understand all like the entire process. It will look ugly and it will not function as a sword, but it will retain its story and still be one intact item. So I can kinda accept it, but I would rather have the sword to be in pieces and tell its story that way than to put it ugly together again, just to have it in a single piece. Like, it's a different thing if you like reconstruct a jar and you're gonna use it as a jar, but who would? Because it's easier to just make a new one, or even buy a new one. Yeah, the coincidence are quite high. How it's always Gumshoe and how it's always us. One or another could be understood, but both, no. No, Maya. People are gonna take that way too literally. You don't want to say that. And, like usual, we'll present our badge. Like, yeah, from what we've been given to understand, it is quite cheap of a build, and like, did they even hint that it's not actually golden or even a golden alloy, but it's just coated with gold? But police badge, like, if I would try to get some awe and respect out of people, I would get more out of showing that I am an attorney than a police badge, especially nowadays. And that's saying a lot because attorneys are hated. So what happened? Like, why? Again, why? I really don't get it. Like, it's being kept as being the most the priciest thing, sure. But if it's gonna be displayed in such a dangerous and open place, why would you care for its security outside the exhibit when it's not being carried inside the exhibit? Let's talk about the thief. The total OC character Do Not Steal Mask the Mask. Maya. You go for all the new children's kid shows and get super fan immediately. How can you say something like that about a criminal? Especially since something being something since sliced bread is such an old saying that nobody of your age group or younger should say it anymore, because it's starting to sound utter nonsense. But it's a funny thing how long it took, like, for humanity itself to start selling bread at, like, pre-cut. It was like a couple millennia just selling bread as just it is, before someone has the idea, oh, what if we cut it for the people so they can just take the pieces from the bag and eat it straight off. And yeah, that was a genius move, because nobody has had that idea beforehand for some reason. But then we look at people who thought, hey, how about we sell fruits peeled? And we are calling those guys idiots. No, they aren't that actually idiot. But they are idiots because they package them in a way where the fruit goes bad. They put so much labor in it, and they put so much more price in it, that nobody's ever gonna do it. With the bread, it was genius. Because from what I've seen and let you understand, the price of sliced bread and bread was like, it was the same. there was no added price. In many occasions, I've been led to understand that it was even cheaper. Because factories and shit. But yeah. Well, the Ace Detective. Well, when we go down there, everyone's gonna understand why nobody uses that name. I say it's bad. It's bad when you think about it. Like, the mask is so super simple. That alone, like that's good. But then you have the, well, fire-looking shapes. Since that's not flowery, that's fiery. On a green background and being in yellow. It breaks heraldry and it tries to confirm with heraldry still. It could have been done in a way that it would have been heraldic, but the fact that the symbol itself is black and white ruins it. I just don't like it. It's a bit too over the place and at the same time stale. Let's say if it would just be the mask and rouge colored background, now that would have been something. That would have been far more fitting. And I really like gold and green. Remember that fact. The fact that the employees have to go by the emblem alone should be really bad, especially since, well, oh yeah, it doesn't show us the actual card, better it just shows the text. But from the pictures we have shown, that's his mask, so people could just guess the card. It's a bad thing to keep secret, but let's go to the basement. It's only our second time here. And here we go. Why him? This game, like, I'm gonna spoil it. This game has characters, side characters, that you just don't want to see ever again. In most highest quantity compared to any of the other games in the series. And unfortunately, in most cases, you are going to see them again, in one form or another. It should be quite obvious. Yeah, one should never say that themselves to be ace something. It should always be a title set by others. And let's do the usual and examine first. So we can look at the computer again. And yeah, we get scolded. So, yeah, we can't actually study anything because he will stop us. So, we'll go to the next one and show our badge. And we didn't have anything special, so let's go to the speech lines themselves. Yeah, you should already know why this guy is one of the most unliked out there. It's not just the Pinocchio nose alone. This image, I hate this image so much. There's so many things wrong about it, look. I hate it. And remember when I mentioned about the colors? The colors fit in the suit, but with the calling card, no. And like, how fitting it would have been if the coloring card would be the same color as the cape and the suit. Because then it looks like it's part of them, like when you would give it out from your pocket, so let it be the color of the pocket. No joke, that's one of the reasons why calling cards of a certain age were all white. No joke. It's not just that it saves on printing, because in most places it would actually be cheaper to have the card yellow and print in grey onto it, rather than have it white and print onto it with black. And I'm officially out of drink again. It feels bad that I'm only at the so beginning of all of this and it's already been an hour. I have gone off the trail a lot of times though. So thank you, Gordon. Yeah, this is the thing. No one should ever call themselves to be ace anything. It should be a title given by others. Like, that is his purpose, though. He is built to be an annoying character, so it's successful. But the thing is, you can have an annoying character built to be successfully annoying and still have them someone you want to see. Let's, for example, if we want another example from this very series, Larry. Larry is meant to be annoying, but he's still lovable in it. Okay, if we want another example of someone who's not meant to be lovable and annoying, then it goes into a question of preference. Because Oldbag, for example, is meant to be annoying and not lovable, but many still love Oldbag. She has depth to her. There are other modes than just, well, like with him, it's this. I want to eternalize this frame. Yeah, that's another thing. No, you should, because that's how ecosystems work. Ugh. And yeah, we still shouldn't be able to study anything. Did I have to present something in order to advance? As far as I remember, I did. The name of the place is so much worse when you start to think of that character's origin, because there is the Pinocchio inspiration, definitely. Yeah, Pinocchio was a sick story. Especially if you go to the older ones. Go a version that's older than the Disney one, and it gets into sick things. So, we can finally start examining. Weirdly, we cannot examine things which should have been things to check. Like this door and the phone, and this door. Like, they don't seem, any of them doesn't seem used. But the fact that they haven't been used should already tell something. But no, we can at least look at the camera. Oh, where did I leave my phone? Because I just heard my phone. I think I left it in the kitchen. Like, I had, like, were in a shower before starting the stream. So I guess, like, on that travel route, I just left the phone in the kitchen. So when I'm gonna get a drink, I'm gonna get it as well. Because that most likely is a message about tomorrow. Yeah, Phoenix is helpless with technology. And it's so funny that Phoenix is like meant to be a quote-unquote young person in the series, especially at this point. And he's suffering so much with technology. When that response that Nick had, that's something you usually see with prideful old people nowadays. That they're like, I don't know what I need, I have to do, but I have to do it, and they just sweat and nerve blank out without even trying to do anything because they're too nervous to do anything. Like I see that quite often, even still, and it will take that people of my generation will be the old folk. We would be the ones forcefully retired and dying to get out of that. Like, so we don't have people that nervous about technology anymore. Because if you look at people younger than my generation already, they have been born with a smartphone on their hands. We have gone from technology is something foreign to technology is something that we need to have in order to survive. But yeah. Only once, around 1 AM. Like, you can have multiple opinions about technology. I also say technology is the thing, but it should be, like, not limited, but it should be reasonized. Let's just say that certain leaps in the technology have been done, but not done, but they have been used to wrong people instead of helping people. Yeah, like I do like the idea that people can be like we can actually get hold of people like almost whenever and wherever. That wasn't a thing back in the day. if I wanted to see my friend, I had to hope that he's somewhere near the phone when I call so I can ask is he home or not. Because I couldn't just go and visit, because that's a 6 kilometers bike trip. It's not something I'm just gonna do lightly. But it's already changed a lot. Like at the point when I had a motor vehicle under me, it already was at the point that everyone has their phone. But even then we had to call. We would still have to do phone calls. Nowadays, in most occasions, you don't even need to send a message or ask someone, are they home or not? You could look at their status on things and check. Oh yeah, they are home. I wonder, would they be okay if I visit? But then again, most people don't visit. They would just send a message online, talk online, and that's it. Good God, that was a horrible feeling. A hiccup and a belch at the same time. And now my throat burns. Oh no! I hate it. No. Why is flesh so weak? I crave for the certainty of steel. Yeah, I don't get how can it be bent like that? Like, it's not steel. It looks like it would be made from some sort of stone. So how can you bend it? It's a mystery that's never solved. And yeah, when you look at here, you can see that it's bended quite heavily. It feels like it's bended way more than what you see here. I know it's the angle, but it still seems like it's more bent. Like it's almost broken up when you look at this way. When you look at here, it looks like it's naturally bending a bit. It could be a perspective visual illusion a bit as well, but we will burr there and move to the side. Oh wait, was there... No, we only had the one ladder step ladder thing. Because you always need to have the ladder versus step ladder discussion. Yeah, like the important spot we can never go and investigate. Also, why there are so many identical boxes like this. You need a crane to get these things moving, and we haven't seen one. There isn't like a lifter system in this storage room itself, so you would think that you would have a machine, a crane machine of some sort, which you drive around. But we haven't seen it. I can't remember the last time when I operated one. The low ones that are pump operated, those were annoying because they kept breaking constantly. But the actual electric ones that could go higher up, those were they were handy. Just the same thing that their engine wasn't that powerful. So in many occasions you needed to push it forward because it could not push itself much at all. And then we have this huge pool of blood. Oh wait, we aren't playing Danganronpa, so... Yeah, I still don't get, like, why it is okay in Danganronpa that they have constant, like, showcase of blood everywhere. And it's okay because it's pink instead of red. Why is it okay to have, like, very gory scene if it's pink instead of red? And overall, I find it so odd how in the East it's so wrong to showcase any sort of blood, while in the West it's okay to show literal bloody corpses. But then when we go into nudity, you see a single nipple in the West and your entire, whatever it is, a comic, a game, movie, whatever, it becomes X-rated and not suitable for anyone. Meanwhile, in the East, it's okay to have people fully nude just for a joke. It's an eternal topic of discussion which will never get a solution, because everyone always mentions it, everyone always talks about it and how weirdly things are skewed because of that, but nobody ever has a solution or answer for it. Because there should be some sense into it. There should be a middle ground for both. But yeah, was there still something else? Because I would have remembered that I had... Like, I would be automatically driven out of here in one way or another, but I guess not. I can't see there being anything, so let's go back. Oh yeah, we had everything. And of course we need to listen it for a moment. Steel Samurai theme is so awesome. And I'm a bit sad that I never had a phone like this. I had let's say a tad more modern one. Like the earliest one I had, it didn't have an antenna. We were already at the point where the antenna was internal. It had like a slot on the back for it. Like, it looked like a belt buckle kind of thing. And from what I understood, you could have actually put a belt buckle through that, because some people use those phones as like GPS tracking things. And, well, not GPS, they were radio tracking things. Because it didn't have a GPS, it had a close range radio. I wonder what they mean with the fact that his picture kept going from one side to the other. Like, is he tossing the phone between his hand or from one side of his head to the other? Like, what was that about? Yeah, the criminal wants to talk to us for some reason. I wonder. So, I guess we'll move to... Did I actually have to do it this way? I don't remember I could do it this way. Okay, I guess let's go to the Detective. Kinda. Yeah, Phoenix, kinda. I wouldn't say it's a B-grade horror movie. I would say it's a C-grade detective movie. A Sherlock Holmes movie. That just happens to have some modern tools here and there. Like, burners did exist back then, but they were huge, they were clumsy. But yeah, microscopes, no. Uh, well, ships in bottles did exist. They have been existing a long time. But books didn't. Uh, kind of this actually did exist, and in multiple forms. Like, it's funny how long there have been a transportable music. Like, even before disc, there were cylinders. Cylinders were a very common way for music. No, because that's cursed as hell. Well, we can examine while we're here and just rummage around this place. I can't remember the last time I seen any type of gramophone. I seen a lot of different types of, well, cylinder-based music listeners, and like just music boxes that doesn't even have a changeable cylinder. I have seen those not so long ago even, but an actual gramophone I can't remember the last time I seen. Now that I start to think about, does the museum even have a gramophone? They have all sort of like technology. They have like, well, they even have this scale of phones from the oldest mobile phones to modern ones and shit like that. They have telegram machines, but there has to have been a gramophone somewhere there. So that must be the last time I seen one. I just don't remember one. Oh yeah, I also like how they have this. They have couple of old-timey phones that are set up in a way that they play you a recording that sounds like you would be on a payphone. It's just a neat thing, and I wish that they had more like that, like old network connection, so you could hear like how fast that would go. Like you would have to wait until you download a bit. How would it sound? Old synthesizers and things like that. Like more in that favor. It would be like it's the only way that people would have any idea when they don't know. Because even my cousins, they are younger than me. Like the age difference is 10 years, more than 10 years, or maybe it's about 10 years. I don't exactly remember what age the cousin I'm referring to is. I think it's about 10 years of difference. But even they have a hard time of thinking about like modern connections. Like they have seen on the internet and like videos that refer to it and the noise, but they still can't understand it in any sort of way. And I cannot emulate it. I cannot emulate that. Yeah, you actually had to wait even back then. It's not even that long ago. But how long you needed to wait in order to download anything? I won't even allow to download images because it could take an hour. So I had to go to the library. The rare times I got a time at the library and I could freely use the internet. and take a floppy disk and put it in the library's computer and download one half of an image, then put another floppy disk to get the other half of the image, and then cry because I can't combine the images back home because it takes too much computing power to do. No, I didn't cry. And I didn't ever take the half images. If I couldn't fit the image in the floppy drive, I just had to be without that image. That was just the case. So, I didn't get many images because of those limitations, let's just say. When CDs became a cheap thing, I hate how nobody had a burning CD drives. Like, they didn't have any at the library. Because if they did, I could have gotten images for my projects a lot easier, because I would have had the CDs. I even had a burning CD drive back home, but I couldn't use the internet, so At that point, I'm starting to think we might not even have had any form of internet connection that functioned, because it was fully on the phone lines, and the phone lines, they technically still exist, let's just say. Technically. I can't even remember the last time when we had a landline, like phone connected to anything. But they still technically exist. They were in such a crummy situation and they never got repaired. Because I bet I have told the story before. But yeah, now we can go to the answer center. But yeah, I must have told the story before. But we wanted the landlines to be repaired, of course, because we had still people calling. There were random people that just couldn't accept that they would need to phone one of our mobile numbers. They kept calling on the landlines. And there were government instances and shit that always used the landlines. They couldn't accept anything else. It took a long time before it became a thing that you can choose what number they would call you to. Not that they choose a number and they keep calling that. But anyway, so we called the company that, hey, our landline needs to be repaired. It's unaudible. It's in such a crummy fit that you can't hear, you can't understand what anyone's saying. And then they would just say, well, but I understand you well, so it has to work. Goodbye. And they cut the line. Calling them again and saying, we are calling from a mobile number, because if we use the landline you couldn't understand us. But we hear you fine just now. Goodbye. Yeah. They kept doing it for years. They kept claiming that, oh, because we can hear you now, it has to work. There's nothing wrong with it. It didn't matter that we had to call them on a on a fucking mobile phone. If we actually use the landline to call them, they say, there is something wrong in the phone. Please call again. Go again later. Or at least that's what I assume they said, because it was so hard to make out at all what they said, because it was in such a fucking bad condition. And whenever they actually send someone, the laziest show that they were supposedly doing something, they went to one of our electrical poles, like a pole that has just the electric lines, and they have one of these, I don't know what to call those devices in English, but it just showcases like radio waves, like the frequency, what sort of radio waves are out there, and you are supposed to put that into like metal to see if like those waves get like reflected or like echoed in a building, in the metal. So you know that there's something wrong with the isolation. They had one of those devices. They stick that into the wood off the freaking electric pole and say, yeah, numbers look fine. Okay, I think we are done here. And then they leave. They did that multiple times. They could never accept to do anything, to repair anything. They always pretended that, yeah, we tested, we see everything's fine. I was super young and I still could see it that they are lying. They are, they are doing a bad act. But they were a monopoly, so nobody could do anything about it. But yeah, since I've been on for an hour and a half, I think this is a good spot. That I will get more drink, I will get my phone, and maybe send a couple of messages because it's still a bit murky who's gonna get me from the train tomorrow. So it's best that I make sure of that situation before either option goes to bed. So I'll be back in a minute or two.
Governor Militant Alexander's naming of his capital proved highly premature, as Victory Bay saw his troops broken and slaughtered by the powers of chaos. Eliphas the Inheritor led an unholy procession through the streets of the shattered city, his cultists shouting out terrible supplications and gathering up the dead and wounded. These unfortunates were brought before the great Hellstorm cannon that had formed the center of the Imperial defense. Eliphas's sorcerers, Amphion and Zethus, then performed a terrifying ritual using these rotting corpses as their sacrifice. With their dark words, the demon of plague and rot, bound into the cannon during the Horus Heresy, awoke anew. The word-bearers celebrated this day as that when their new crusade obtained the support of Ner'gul, the Chaos God of pestilence and decay. To celebrate his victory over the Eldar, Eliphas had his men crack open all the aliens' waystones. According to the black texts circulated after this dark day, these eldritch gems held the souls of the Eldar, keeping them from feeding the powers of chaos. By breaking the waystones, the word-bearers fed thousands of Eldar souls to Slaanesh, the chaos god of excess and decadence, and obtained that dark deity's favor for their dark crusade. Faithful subjects of the Emperor understandably took heart to see the word-bearers strike at the heart of the Necron infestation of Cronus. With two implacable evils turning on one another, the thinking went, the forces of Wright couldn't help but win. Unfortunately, Eliphas the Inheritor would emerge from his victory in the Thur Abyss Plateau more dangerous than ever. Imperial commanders could not guess that the Necrons held strange technologies and artifacts that were as hateful to the powers of chaos as they were to life itself. By shattering the basalt monoliths and unholy archives of the Necrons, Eliphas was striking at one of the only forces, other than the God Emperor himself, able to push back the ruinous powers. In so doing, he not only removed a threat to his power, but gained the favor of Tzeentch, one of the chaos gods of the warp. His dark crusade would carry the sanction of the god of sorcery from that day onward, making it all the more unstoppable.
And I'm back. So, it was exactly as I heard it. I I just forgot the phone on the kitchen table, so there it was. But let's actually continue. I checked Discord as well there, so I had Windows a tad mixed up. But now everything should be back to normal. Why the question mark? Yeah, he does look like that, definitely. Well, we'll present our badge. And unfortunately, no special response. Because I never really understood this animation. Like, he's moving his entire hair mass when he turns his head. Like, if you would actually be a thief hanging about, that kind of hair should hurt. So let's just talk. Complicated, you say? Like, that doesn't help it. That doesn't help it. Doesn't change it in one way or another. Like, how many times over here someone has said my last name wrong, and I just have to say, I think you might be referring to me, and that, like, if you had a time, then yes, but that's not my name. It's like, well, then why did you say because it should be now and it was similar? They're like, show me the paper. Yeah, you have the name written right, you're just saying it wrong for some reason. And it takes a certain type of ignorance over here to say someone's name wrong when it's written right in front of you. You have to remember our entire language is based on the fact that everything is said exactly as it's written down. So if you don't know how to say something properly, you don't know how it's written down. You cannot escape it. I kind of wish that they would have had... We have already seen the small font. And having it grayed out when they are like whispering and fading out. But for that, yes. Only if it would have been in bold or something to indicate that they were actually loud at that point. And then maybe start having fade here. I think that would have drowned it all, but you get the gist. So I really can't. I love when that's actually voice acted and done in a show of some form. Like the way that some people just fade out. It's very relatable to me. Although I don't usually fade out in my speeches, I fade out physically. and figuratively from the people's minds. You don't believe the amount of times that I'm in a room with, let's say, only 5 other people, and after 3 hours they're like, oh wait, what the fuck, when did you enter? Like, I've been here the entire time. Nobody just took any notice that there is a giant in the corner just standing by. How can one lose an urn of that size? That's a good way to put it, I would say. That's a very good way to put it. Hideout. It's not that good of a hideout if you're just gonna tell us where it is, you know. You're making it worse. Bwah, bwah, bwah. And you would think that there would have already been a police over there, like rummaging the place, putting it on its head. It's like, if you are arrested, they are gonna easily get a warrant for your place. And it doesn't really matter where. I find it weird how over here as well, like, police have gotten warrants for persons that they got arrested on a suspicion, even though they have nothing to showcase that they have had anything to do with. And like, not even actually arrested, just detained for questioning, and even that's usually have been done in the form of, hey, would you mind like coming to the police station and answering some questions? Because if you don't, then you can be actually detained for questioning. And even in those occasions that they have come willingly to the police station on their own car, they still somehow gotten a warrant for their place. And naturally not found anything. And naturally broken a couple of things while they were searching for something. And who's gonna pay for that? The person whose house it is. Yeah. Overall, like, search warrants tend to not find when talking about finding something stolen. Finding information about people, if you get a warrant to places, that's usually a better case. Police are usually better at finding like something related to a missing or murdered person. That's a totally different thing. But like, if I remember right, the overall stats around the world, to get something that has been stolen from you back, it's like in the grade of 5%. and then again it's like 80% that it's gonna be broken beyond use, and then 10% on top of that broken. So you're only gonna have such a tiny margin of getting back what was stolen from you in at least almost the condition it was stolen in. And I assume I got another message about tomorrow. I will answer this after stream, because it's a question about Saturday and I don't know how Saturday is gonna go yet. Which reminds me, I have forgotten to ask one of my friends, would he actually come to the tournament on Saturday? These earrings, they are huge, and the fact that they are wheels always freaked me out. I can understand that you're interested in bikes, but having bike wheels as earrings? And especially you couldn't bike having earrings like that. Like, your ears would be torn off, or your face would be scratched because of them. And yeah, of course you would be needing to be wearing a helmet, but your helmet wouldn't fit your head if you had one of those things, even one, let alone two. So, let's do it out of the usual and let's show the badge first. And unfortunately we have no special treatment for it. Okay, well, let's examine the place. And yeah, filled with the mass stuff. But in the grand scheme, not that much. We have balloon. Those are the only straight from the mass stuff, but then we go into actual weaponry. Like, here is the issue. Here you would get into trouble. We'll just ignore this and just focus on what exactly can be seen. Like, it's so weird that in almost everywhere you actually need a license for a sword, but they aren't really checked, because I know a ton of people with multiple swords and nobody has a license, and it doesn't matter in what country they are. Over here, in a sense, you don't need a license, but you cannot be, like, it cannot be seen. Like, it's a very weird, murky spot of the law in a way, that you are allowed to own a sword, but you cannot be seen with one. And I'm not even talking about publicly. It's the fact that if a police would come to your house and they would see a sword there, they were like, well, you don't have a license for a weapon, I guess we are gonna arrest you. Like, how it can be legal to own it, but not have it illegal for police to see it in your own house? That type of deal. That's the same with multiple countries. It makes no sense. But let's leave the swords out of this. This could be kept as a prop gun, just because it kinda looks like it could even be a prop gun. Those are fully legal everywhere, far as I know. In some places they aren't allowed. You aren't allowed to have them outside your home, and they might even need a license to use them in a stage show, but they are okay. But this looks like a harpoon gun. Like, it reminds me of a grenade launcher like a tear gas launcher, but when you see the ending of it, it's so small. Harpoon gun. That's the other option. Those are a legal murky spot as well. Because for some reason, crossbows are perfectly fine. You are allowed to have a crossbow that can pierce multiple people at once, even going through bones. That's okay. But then you cannot have a pepper gun. That's illegal. Harpoon guns goes into the same. Somewhere they are completely illegal, somewhere they are completely legal. Makes no sense. And I also find it so funny that in many places harpoon guns, like, you can operate them without any sort of license. If you go diving, you need a license to dive, but you can just use a harpoon gun without any training. And yeah, the detection area for this is quite large. We have a grappling hook, some gas. Torpedoes aren't hard to get. No, torpedoes are actually super easy to get. People just seem to ignore the fact that not all torpedoes have a payload. I actually delivered one torpedo home from here not so long ago. It belonged to my aunt's husband. There were two in the box actually. One was broken, from what I understand, behind repair, and the other one was to be taken repaired. And they were just meant to be used in ice fishing. Nobody ever explained to me exactly how, because I don't know, why do you want to get something below the ice to move in a rapid speed with ice fishing? Usually you just drop the thing, like, you just drop the pilkki down in a hole, you're done. You don't take it like further in. Maybe they were using them for nets and they just never mention it, because that one I know to be a thing. But I've always been led to understand that they don't use nets during the winter, because that's very hard and not profitable. They have nets throughout when the lakes are not frozen, so... Anyway, the fact is, torpedoes are easy to get. I could go and get one, just it wouldn't have a payload. Now this, on the other hand, rockets aren't that easy. Rockets are actually quite hard. You have to make them yourself, or they are gonna be fireworks. Or one of those toy ones. You can get some of those ready-made. Not in this country though. I think they are completely illegal to sell, if they have any functionality, that is. And because you can't get the chemicals, no gunpowder or anything, you can't even make one in here. US, I think it's a very common thing. Like, schools have them as like contest and club opportunities everywhere. I was always envious when I saw that on TV, because that would have been something very cool to do. Yeah, that is a new low for you, Nick. No, that's the thing. Many believe that if you would steal from a thief, that would be net neutral karma, because stealing is bad, but if you do something bad for a bad person, you are then acting in the favor of karma. That's what many people believe in. So there have actually even been laws in places. They are like back in Dark Ages usually, but there have been cases of if someone has been labeled a thief, you can freely take their positions. Because they have been labeled as taking others' positions, they lose the rights to own anything. So you could, in essence, freely steal from a thief. Same happened to murderers. If someone was stated as a murderer and was left to go, aka they have not been captured or they escaped jail or a death sentence, you were usually allowed to kill them. You might even in some cases be rewarded for it. And the same went to other crimes, and those things it's best not talked about, especially not during a stream. But you get the idea. You get the idea. These toupees are so bad. Police didn't. And yeah, note how I was pressing here when in actuality what was talked about is here. But yeah, it doesn't look like police investigated this place at all, because most of the things in here are very amateurish and toy. But then there are the real weaponry behind there which we can't even talk about. And oddly, we can't talk about this miniature bike at all, even though you would think it to open certain discussions. We can't go into the kitchen, talk anything about that. I find this to be a super weird thing to have between a kitchen and a living room. Because usually these are used for babies' crypts or a wind chime. Looking at the structure and how it's built, it more looks like it meant to be a wind chime type of deal than for a baby's mobile. But wind chimes are meant to be somewhere where there's wind, not inside. Because I can only see that if there is movement, it will just bash into this wood here and leave marks. But this is something we can investigate. Envelope and a letter. The envelope is abnormal color, but I like it. Normally, yes, that's a good thing to have on your mind, but the amount of times, Phoenix, that the only way you have solved a crime is that you have snooped into freaking random papers you find, makes it so that I find it odd that you didn't even try to read it. Yeah, I think that's everything we can investigate here, so let's actually talk to the person that invited us here originally. Well, not here, but to the, containment facility originally. What do you mean shady training? Are they actually trying to imply that, like, she would be, you know, functioning as a, you know, the Phoenix instead of a assistant, but an assistant, let's just say, because that's the only way to make that sound like any sort of logical. Because anyone looking from like sidelines, not knowing anything about Maya, it would just seem that, oh, a spirit medium is for some reason working at a law office. Okay. People that actually know would see, oh, a spirit medium is working at a law office which her sister used to own. Oh, that makes sense. Right? It used to be her sister's. Everyone has like instantly forgotten about her after she died. And it just boom became Phoenix's. I doubt it was testamented to him. And like it could have, like sensibly, it could have gone to Maya. But Maya never says that she's in any sort of ownership of it. It's always said to be Phoenix's, so I find it so weird. Which you can't do anywhere. There is no place where you can actually freely use a motorbike at full speeds. Even the test tracks and shit, they have limits. And I never understood driving two-wheeled vehicles. Like, I have driven a scooter a bit, and I had difficulties turning. I didn't like it. I had my Doom buggy. That was much more fun. Four wheels, 2 seats, and a... Oh shit, I forgot what's called in English. A pickup truck has one on the back. What's it called? What's the back part of the pickup truck called? What's that thing in English? I completely forgot the word. If anyone's out there right now and knows the actual word, please help me, because it's bugging the shit out of me. It's just a super universal word in Finnish, but all of the things that it's used in Finnish are completely different things in English, and I don't remember what's the one in car. What's that one called? For fuck's sake. It's like talking multiple languages. It's a pain sometimes, because you eventually, it doesn't matter how good you are with languages, you eventually have the moment that you just lose a word. And I've even seen it happen with English, with people that only speak English a lot of times as well. They just can't put a word to their head at all. They just have to try to go around it constantly. I bet it happens with all the languages, but I'm just too used to that if someone's having the same sort of episode in Finnish that they forgot a word, they forgot what something's called, they will just quickly try to go around it and explain it in another manner. And that's all we know. from here. I don't recall that I can showcase because wait, I could. Yeah, this is what I wanted to showcase. Maya is the the one with logic and sense here, stated that hey, that's supposed to be a top secret thing, you can't be showing it around. Which I find funny. And there we go. But yeah, that's all I think I can do for now. So, was the... Nope, there is still something I'm missing. But what is it? Is there something else I can showcase? Earn? No. No, wait, she actually is talking about the urn. But that wasn't important. What am I actually missing? Because I'm definitely missing something. That's not like a necessary thing. I shouldn't get anything over here anymore. And I should have already examined everything here that I can. Is there something I can talk to him in the detention center? No, because it should have stated. I'm forgetting something, but I'm not sure exactly what I'm forgetting. Annoying. Very annoying. I just noticed something on Discord and I find it tad odd. But yeah, I wonder what I'm missing. I'm missing something. Like, I can't for the life of me remember. Was I supposed to present something to him? Oh. I could present a card to him because, well, he's stating to be the Master Mask. So that makes sense. Reading about writing isn't usually the best. Like, reading about how to write fiction or well fact in the form of business letters and things, yeah, that you can learn how to come up with the sentences and structure, yes, but the physical writing part you can only learn by training. And I completely lost my interest and discipline in it, so my handwriting is so bad I sometimes have a hard time reading it. But I know that's not it. The urn shouldn't give us anything important either. Yeah, you did wrong by stealing it as well. Overall, I know that there isn't that much left of this part. So I'm like thinking ahead a bit. Would I go through part of the trial or should I leave that for the next time? Because far as I remember, it's gonna be a 4-parter overall. Maybe I want to have it all as in separate parts? Possibly? Especially since I have to start packing on things, so I think that today is gonna be a quote-unquote short stream. I think that the last stream I had, the Tuesday stream, that's gonna cover it up a bit. Even with the Monday being a shorter. But I'm missing something, but I can't... I'm trying to remember. What am I missing? Because I'm missing something. Because I know that I need to get to the detective's office at some point. That he's actually there. So I'm missing multiple things. Camera data, that this shouldn't be... Nope, this is nothing. Can't do that yet. Hold on, let's go back to the hideout, because... Yeah, like, I can't do anything about that yet. It is a thing, I can spoil that later on, but I can't do it yet. The data, no, she's not interested in the data. She shouldn't have anything from the statue. No, wait, it's the same thing as... Same thing as the jar. What am I missing? I'm definitely missing something, but what is it? I'm tad confused. No, that's nothing. Is there actually a line somewhere that I didn't talk to someone and I just can't see that I skipped it? No? Oh fuck, I have studied everything here, haven't I? And like, there isn't much here that will actually do something anyway. Like, I did mention that this is a thing, but I can't do it yet. Seriously, what am I missing? Yeah, so that has the exact same line again. Huh. This is weird. I'm most likely I'm missing multiple things, but I can't... How am I so stuck already? Because I'm missing something specific, something small, so I can trigger to get further ahead. Oh, I think I know what I'm missing. I think I know now. It's not the evidence, it's the profiles. I need to talk about the mask because, well, this looks like the mask's hideout, you know? Yep, here we go. This is what I was missing. No wonder I forget, because it's so rare that you need to actually present someone's profile to someone in order to advance things. Yep, that's the biggest fan. Yeah. Dun dun dun. So now we should have an additional line, delusions. Here we go. Now we can actually go on. This is not good. I'm getting hungry. So I should fix up something to eat as well at some point, but it's gonna wait until I'm done. It's not like I have that much to do in the game before we get to the second part, which will be where I end the stream today. What? Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you have like the outfit of someone you would assume, and the way that you talked about just wanting to ride with the bike as fast as you can. But your expression is constantly just super kind instead of mean, and you been constantly talking kindly and caringly, so you don't look at all like a bad girl on the outside. And there. But that's a lie. Because you want to be driving constantly as fast as you can, you have the urge to break the law. Because the law is what's keeping you from driving as fast as you want in 99% of the cases. Because there are the cases where you actually need to drive slower because of weather and conditions of road, but in most cases it's just because of the speed limits. And to be honest, in many places it would actually benefit if there would be the minimum speed limit. In some places, yeah, the speed limits are good as they are, but in many places the problems happen because there are people driving with tractors and trucks way slower than the other traffic would want to go. And they have implemented minimum speeds, but they have only implemented them to such roads where those kind of vehicles couldn't drive before even. While instead they should have implemented more roads that is meant just for those type of vehicles. Because they have no option than to go with the big roads that are out there now. That's usually the issue why traffic is random and annoying over here. But yeah, we have the letter, so let's actually deliver it, because I don't like I cannot open it. Nick is not gonna, break the confidentiality of his client and open the letter. So we shall deliver it. How? There is a class between you. You have to give it in order for it to, be received. Yeah. Like, who didn't guess that this would be happening? Shame on you, because this always happens. Yeah, like, Maya has a good point, but the thing is that we are supposed to believe that this guy isn't the real Damask, so... And Phoenix is starting to fade. I just for the sake of it, because I never seen anyone playing this, and will it go in a loop? It should go into a loop, but just in case, refuse. Yeah, it goes into the guilt loop. This happens in most places. You just cannot refuse. And yep, there we go. So, from what I can remember, nothing changed. Like, did I take that or not? Those lines would have happened regardless. And Pearl is crying again. Like, this is usually a thing that people put into a drinking game with Ace Attorney. Is Pearl crying? That's usually one sign. A free spot is if Maya is talking about hamburgers. Or ramen if you are actually using a non-translated title. I would so love some ramen, but there's no way for me to get it. There haven't even been a Dragon in a couple of years. And even in the couple last one, they didn't have any ramen. I miss it. Like, the last dish I actually gotten, they were already closed. They closed shop early. And I was sad, and they noticed that, oh, well, we do still have it, so you can eat with us. And I got a very big dose. Like, dose of ramen, and they even allowed me to have, like, not a full seconds, but a bit of seconds. As well. And it was so great. I actually got to talk to them. We ate together. It was super good. I miss it. You let that young girl, wander around in the city alone to get there. Maya, you're being really irresponsible here. So, now since we have officially taken the case, let's get things rolling, but let's talk to Pearl. And yep, she actually found her way back here. We aren't dealing with a kidnapping case again. Because that's what I expected. I expected originally how this would go on. Is that when Pearl left, that she would be kidnapped. Not for a long shot. I expected that our client's wife would have not actually kidnapped her, but we would have thought that to be the case. And while she was quote unquote kidnapped, she would have been taught that, hey, this is what actually is going on, and that's why she would accept. But instead, she went and bought a strawberry cake. Strawberry cake. To this date, I have never bought a cake. And she went to go on and bought a cake. I don't know why it's some sort of stigma and like a big thing, buying a cake. Tell me, I don't know why it's like that for me. I wait the day when I at some point actually buy a cake. I don't know why it's such a big deal, but for some reason it is. It could be that I'm so used to that back home. My mom made a cake for every occasion. When there was some sort of celebration of any sort, she made the cake. It was always good. And now, in the past years that I have not been living home, it's been more of a odds that there is no cake than that there would be a cake. So, yep. I'm just gotten used to there being so little cakes. Overall, I've been into only a couple of weddings and not so many funerals as usually when I lived back home. And even the funerals usually haven't had cake. It used to be a norm in both weddings and funerals, but things getting more expensive, and especially now with the epidemic, yeah, it hasn't happened. Birthday parties, I generally haven't been invited to any. People don't generally have them that much. You know, people being older and all. So I'm just used to them not being a thing. But yeah, let's talk about Pearl. Oh wait, was this a line I could have actually talked about like way early? I think it is, because it's going into the case. I just usually don't talk to Maya because the things you talk about Maya is just hints, which is usually just, hey, maybe you should just look around more. So that's why I'm used to not talk to Maya. Custom of some sort. Yes, that's a fact. I was wondering when we get the music. Yeah, that has also been told to us, but again, this could be someone's first game, so it makes sense that you can get the explanation here. And yeah, I don't remember, was this explained particularly before? But it's something that you could just read between the lines. Yeah, it's understandable why it happens, but it's a very rough thing. Like, the way how Korean Village works, it's a bit like the reverse works in 40k with planks. Planks are the anathema, they are the opposite of psychic powers, but they also have the effect that nobody wants to be around them. No, and it can only be transferred to women. For some reason, the genome just doesn't work on men. There is no proven case of a plank that's a male. Like, there are some, but they have been, for what I understand, not fully natural and thus dismissed. But let's move to Atme, because I think, no, I'm not ready for Atme yet, so let's actually examine some more now that we actually have examine license. And Andrews is in peril. Let's talk to her. I don't know why the first one is about the calling card. It's natural to have a security camera at a storage room. Like, it would be odd to not have one there. Like, it's much more natural that there aren't cameras in a room like this, but there would be cameras in a room below. Because up here, there's always gonna be light and there's always gonna be people who watching out. But down there, you don't want people to be there, so you want the security to be automated. Yeah. Its value is purely in its story and its emotional package, because it's an urn. It's a fully emotional thing. So important to the people who know whose dust is supposed to be in it. And yeah. Polishing an old urn like that, it most likely would have even lowered the value because you would have scraped off the old painting on it. Because in most cases, they have been made in a single color clay and then painted designs on top of it and everything. Like, even the remains of old Greek vases, in most occasions they had color on top, but that has, well, it has long since been gone with age. And like, for example, like a funny thing which people still claim to be wrong, they just can't believe it. The statues on Easter Island, they used to have eyes, but they have long since been stolen or just lost to the time and decay. Both has happened. And there have been like so many older, like, for example, monuments in Egypt. They have had this beautiful overall coating on them, like the pyramids. They were smooth with the coating, but that has worn down. Many Roman buildings, they had this lovely white marble coating. They had the marble on top of the stone we see now, in very smooth white sheen and shades. Now you see grey or brown stone, because that was stolen. Marble from Roman buildings were in the most occasions stolen to build freaking manors and palaces in the Renaissance. She's super calm. Was I supposed to present things and then she got us some answers? Is that how I advance now? Too far gone. Wait, how did I calm her down? There was a way to calm her down, I think. How the hell did I do that again? It's been a while, and usually these are so simple that you just showcase everything, but... Or was it the case that at this point, the agency actually opened? Nope. Don't tell me. Remember last time when I had a huge issue of advancing, I actually had to talk Maya about everything. Do I have to talk to Maya about Maya? So I talk about Maya I talk Maya about Maya, and it actually is not about Maya, but Morgan. Oh yeah, we unlock even more. Yeah, Maya's mother has been established dead at this point because it's been so long that she's been gone. What was the age even? Because they had a certain time in Kurain village, and they brought that fact up. That if a person has been gone from the village for a certain amount of time, they are declared dead. But I can't remember exactly how long the time was. It was such a tiny detail. So yeah, I was most likely forced to go through this background information. And Pearl. Pearl, like, how young are you even at this point? 9. Remember, this 9-year-old girl run away from us at the detention center, went to a store, bought a strawberry cake, and brew us tea to go with the cake. I guess at age 9 I would have been allowed to go to a store and get things if we were anywhere close to it, but still. There's also the fact that I'm, well, male, and I'm very tall. I was always super tall, depending on, like, comparing to people of my age. But still, I'd say 9 is an age which you might not want to have kids going on about on their own. Especially in a city of this size. In a town environment where she's from, yeah, maybe that's a okay environment for that, but not a huge place. Yes. But yeah, okay, now I think we have actually unlocked. So yeah, there we go. That was what I was missing. I actually needed the background to be allowed to have the cursed one. Gaze your eyes. The Pinocchio appeared. Yeah, we have already talked to you. So, night of the crime. The fact that this would be a 5th time of you encountering our enemy would seem that you have failed to catch him 5 times. That would lower your ranking as a detective instead of making it higher. Like, all the stories about Lupin, and they always bashed the police for not being able to catch him. Not praise that, oh yeah, you have seen him so many times, you must be good. It makes sense. Also, that thing, it exudes expensiveness. Although I never, like, I always hated when they had smaller gems, like, put on, like, ribbons below the main attraction like this. I never liked it. But without it, the price would go down by 30%, which is in the end quite a lot. Let's talk about the urn. But it has everything to do with the case. Yep. But even if the item was just a lure to you, it still is important. Lore is very important. So of course it has something to do with the case. And why do you keep doing this creep show? Like the veins in your eyes. Ugh. And the blandness. Half that color. Talk about us about the MO. Don't go in the poetry, please. A Cyclock. Why is it presented like this? Like, it's not like we are actually gonna exchange Cyclocks to him, because he has no idea he has one. He knows he's lying, but nobody else knows about Cyclocks than the ones that can use the power of the Marara. I know it's written as Magatama, but it's, for some reason, it's pronounced Madama in many occasions. I don't know why. They should be completely two different things. So I like to say it being as a Madama instead of Magatama. You know? It's easier to say, faster to say. And used multiple times, although it should be wrong. It's like saying Arceus instead of Arceus. Although that goes into pronunciation policy, and I think Arceus is the right one, but even the Pokemon Company itself have used Arceus multiple times. And I love when people compile that they show the dub of the anime from one of the movies, how some Pokemon are pronounced, but then they neglect that the same Pokemon has been pronounced differently in another movie. Arceus is one of the best examples. There have been so many multiple different pronunciations of it in the anime and in the movies. But yeah. Take that! Let's see, can we solve this Cyclock now, or am I actually missing something? I shouldn't be missing anything though. Well, we have gotten the proof a while ago. The camera data. And how did Atmay forget about that? She's sweating. He could have easily deleted the data, but he seemingly forgot about the camera being there, which makes it even more confusing. Well, the thing is, we don't have anything because all of these are sensible, you know? Like, he could be fast asleep and that's why he didn't see anything, and it's embarrassing to admit. Being in the bathroom is embarrassing to admit. Being unconscious is embarrassing to admit. I don't remember what was the correct one here. Unconscious, I think. No, I actually needed to show the evidence. So what would I if I would have said using the bathroom, what would I have supposed to have? A shit-stained toilet paper or something? Even that wouldn't prove anything. That like it was him, and at that time. Oh yes, of course. The unconscious is the one. Because we already know something that has been used in an awkward manner. The sword! It's bent. And it wasn't bent before the crime happened. So boom. Supposedly he was being hit by it. That's quite easy connection to make, you know. But it doesn't make you an ace attorney because that wouldn't prove anything. Well, we can talk about the MO now. Like, nobody can sneak around to hit you with that. It's impossible. It's so large you should be able to feel the presence. Although I might overestimate people and sensing presences of things. And a normal, healthy individual should be able to do it, let's just say, but we know he's so self-centered, it could actually happen. He could be self-centered enough to not notice. So that makes sense in a way. And here's the kicker. And yeah, he's presenting that there is an actual picture. So why did he try to lie? We actually have a picture of the mask going through the door with a package. But this should automatically give questions to people. How did he enter there? Because there's only a picture of him leaving. Well, what's the reason? Well, we have seen that there was a green envelope here, but now we are told to look around at it. Nothing else should have changed, but now we are allowed to look at it again. So there it is, like he said. But how would he know? How would he know? That's confusing, isn't it? Yeah. In the end, quite a low amount of money they are asking in a blackmail from a super known criminal mastermind. But then again, if they would know that they aren't the real deal, that sounds much more reasonable, sounds amount of money. Also, the fact that Phoenix knows it's written with a fountain pen is tad odd. Phoenix usually isn't being told to be that good at recognizing what something's written with. Or any other, like, notes of calligraphy. I find it odd. A familiar noise. And what do you know? If something smells, it's usually bugs. Yeah, like, Buds wasn't part of the first case since it was a thing in the past, so of course Buds needs to be part of the second case we go through. You know, it only makes sense. So you guys can already have a couple of guesses what's gonna happen or what has happened. Why would she go to check on her bike at a random time like this? Well, let's talk to him. 2 years? 2 years, really? How? How it's been 2 years? I'm starting to think that the 2 years have to be a lie. There's no way. Because, like, if the last time we saw Andrews was 7 months ago, but the case with in the Korean village was a year ago. Yeah, there's no way it's been 2 years. There's absolutely no way. Bum bum bum. Quite a usual story, isn't it? Same old Larry, indeed. So what he's doing here specifically? Well, talk more about the wallet, shall you? Yeah, but clearly went through the wallet. Which it's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that we know that he has stolen money before, when he was young. In a good way, in a way that he actually wanted to return the wallet to whoever it belongs to by looking at the cards to find the identity. But the first aspect still rings fresh in our ears, right? And yeah, Larry as a security card doesn't sound a good combination at all. Can we get an additional line from him with the card? Don't remember. Yeah, that data would be really beneficial to us, but well, Larry just can't give that data to us, so you know it's not gonna be good for us. Since we would have the perfect alibi for our client, but we just can't access it. And for some reason we can't go to his workplace and ask, so I guess we go back to admin. And, I remember that I needed to go back here and examine a thing, but it's not here yet, so I'm missing something. Oh, I think I need to talk more Barry about a couple other things. Like the letter. Like, what identity Butts thinks that his would have been revealed with that letter? Butts has nothing he can really hide. He's an open book. He's a clutch. So now we can actually talk about the job, right? Yeah, he's skipping job. Skipping work. Buds. Boy. He's skipping a lot of his work. Yeah, Maya gets it. There's no way. Phone. Yeah, like I said, it's not a good idea to have Pearl just wander about in the city. Like, it's not the first time she's lost, even. Definitely not gonna be the last. But no, don't even try. Let's go. So yeah, this is why we are forced to come here. I didn't remember the reason why we come here. I just remember, like, well, Pearl is covering it, but there was a bag on the table. And yeah, Pearl just went inside. I find it confusing. She just came inside here. Even though this should be a scary place for a young girl. So, let's examine the bag. Yeah, you normally shouldn't be doing that. Like, the fact that you are even in here when the freaking detective isn't, it's already a crime. And now you go and do another crime. But we are busted. We are caught in the act. So it's even worse. Like, the amount of times that Phoenix breaks the law, but we have been able to get away with it, but now we are caught in the act. That is actually a valid question. Don't say it like that, please. Well, tomorrow's trial. Ouch. Ouch, how dare you? How could you? You would expect that from the prosecutors, but not from someone who claims to have been an equal. Oh, no. Yeah. Things aren't looking that bright anymore now, aren't they? Dun dun dun. So let's talk about identity before we go into the ominous name of Goat. And yeah, talking about death penalty for someone who has never taken a life, only stealing things. Well, the ominous name Godot. Why is it Godot? I always thought that it should have been GoBot. And you'll see why. And like, he's building his name so much to us, yet alone we have never heard of it before. It is a tad weird. And yeah, Edgy Boy isn't around here. Phoenix says so right now, but he hasn't really, so... At least we aren't told that he's really known, so... Well, you guys see it when we actually get to court. Things will unravel. Or get wrapped in more mystery, to be honest. Spoilers? Or not really. Because that's how things always go. It seems like we get to know something, but in the end, there is just more mysteries. So let us save. So over the one we made earlier today. There we go. Back. And wapow. I will turn off the game since I should start packing and doing other tasks which I have pushed and pushed and pushed. So, let me thank everyone for joining today. Hopefully you're gonna join me next time, which will be on Monday, where I shall continue and maybe even finish Fire Warrior. Then on Tuesday, I shall begin with the first episode of the Heroes 5 expansion, Hammers of Fate. The Tribes is the second one, so we are going in order, and for a good reason. And then, next Thursday, we shall continue with some more Ace Attorney, and we'll actually get into the trial. Again, thanks a lot for everyone joining. I need to head off, so I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.